Good afternoon and welcome to Real Chicks Rock presents Real Discussions. I'm your host, Michelle Dusbird, and as always, I'm super excited to be here with you on Sunday afternoon. We're here in Atlanta and it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Spring is upon us, just like that. It's already March. The season has changed from winter to spring, just like that. This year is moving along with or without us. Time is moving on. And so I'm just so excited to be here today with you guys. For all the new listeners, let me just give you a little bit of background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about. We're all about creatively collaborating, connecting, and raising awareness regarding issues that impact women by way of community service, public speaking, mentoring, workshops, and the arts. And the arts is this media platform in which we're here with you today, and I'm always excited about doing it. I am slowly approaching my 5th year in doing this, so thank you so much, guys, for checking this out every first and third Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We could not do this without you, so we're so thankful that you decide to spend some time with us every first and third Sunday so we can have these conversations. Without further ado, I am super excited about my guests. I love all my guests. Let me just be honest. My guests are pretty phenomenal people, but today I get to talk to someone that I truly admire as a journalist, as a professional person that's been working in the industry, as a mom, as an author, all these other things, as a blogger. I have none other than Rene Seiler with me. Hi, Rene. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. How are you doing?
I am good.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you had some time to share with us this afternoon. Let's just jump in because I feel you have just a wealth of experience and just things that you can enlighten our listeners with. So, born in Illinois, were you, right? And then raised in Sacramento, right? Let's start it from there, right?
Right. So I don't remember any of Illinois because I was spirited away as a young girl. My parents we were in the military. My mom and dad were in the military. So I was born at Scott Air Force Base, but was actually raised in Sacramento, California, or more appropriately, Fair Oaks, California, which is a suburb of Sacramento. So yeah, I didn't spend any time in Illinois.
None in Illinois. So tell me, what was the neighborhood like for you in California, especially in that Sacramento area? Tell me, what was it like for you?
It's funny that you should ask that because I have been really interested in my childhood and upbringing. So I'll tell you what I remember, and then I'm going to tell you why this has been a point of interest for me. My sister and I, she's younger than me by about 22 months, but we grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. And this would have been probably in the late 60s. So the schools that we went to were predominantly white. The neighborhood was predominantly white, and that's the area that we grew up in. The question I've had lately is, how did we get there? Because we were there prior to the passage of the Federal Housing Act. So we were the only Black family in the neighborhood. And I'm so curious about how our family was the first one there. My dad is deceased, so I can't ask him.
Right.
And my mother has dementia, so she can't really remember. And so it's up to my sister and I to try to piece this together, but I find that really fascinating. What happened that allowed our family to be the first family to move into that neighborhood?
Yeah. It could have been tied to your dad's military, career opportunities, maybe.
He was retired by then. He was in the military. Yes. So by the time we moved there, he was already retired. And it makes me wonder, was this part of, I believe the term is called blockbusting, where they would move a Black family in and then tell all the other families, the white families around, hey, did you know there's a Black family moving in? You better get out while your property is still worth something. So I'm curious about that. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to find that out, though. So
that could be another book, Rene. You get that information. That's another book for sure. That's a story to share. And when you find out, I'm bringing you back. So tell me, Rene, you attended CSU in Sacramento. Were the good times there in college? Had a great time there? Tell me a little bit about that.
I feel like I had quite the kind of charmed life and career. That doesn't mean it was easy, but I did have two parents who gave us a good, solid foundation and footing. And they really had expectations of us that were quite high. So it's not that any of it was easy, but we knew what we had to do. To that end, I ended up going to a small Christian college well, first I went to a community college. They called them junior colleges back then.
Right.
But I went to a small Christian college after the community college. Then I came back, and I came back because my dad was not well. And so I ended up going to the local university, which was Sac State. And it was good. I was a commuter student, so I didn't really have the whole live on campus experience because I was taking care of my sick father and working. I was a waitress at TGI Fridays. And so I didn't have a lot of that. The collegiate experience for me was very perfunctory. It was, you go to school, you put the work in, you get good grades, and you come home. And then you work.
You were very focused. Yeah, you were very focused at a young age, though. You had a lot of responsibilities, though, which is great. Which is great.
It was hard. I look back now and I think I was 23 years old, so that's the same age as my son. But to be handling, the death of my father and all by myself. My parents were separated by that time. My mother so I lived with my dad, and my mother lived in Southern California. So all of that was on my shoulders, and it was hard.
Tough. Yeah, I can imagine. What was your major when you were in college? You remember? What were you studying?
My major was psychology, which, how I got to television, I'll never know. But yes, my major was psychology. And at the time, I thought I would be a psychologist. I was actually really interested in that. But by the time I was done, I had gotten out, graduated with my BA, I was like, oh, no more school. And so honestly, how I got into this is that I was working overnight at the suicide prevention hotline. And I was reading about this woman named Liz Walker, who was the highest paid Black anchor woman in the country at the time. She's in Boston. And I was like, I like telling stories. I always did well in English. Maybe I should look into that.
Really?
And so I ended up getting an internship. I just called up some TV stations and said, hey, I'd like to have an internship. And they actually let me in.
Like that. Wow.
Just like that. And you know what? So the lesson in that was, you don't know the answer unless you ask the question. Don't assume that people are going to say no.
Yeah.
Because there's a chance they might say yes. Maybe they're short-staffed. Maybe they're short-handed.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes. Yeah, and that was the chance I took with you. So thank you for saying yes. Because, yes, we follow each other on Twitter. Yes, I was honored. It's like, she's following me on Twitter. Yes. And something just hit me, and I said, Rene Seiler follows you. You like her. Why don't you just ask? That energy is in the air, Rene. My producer and I were just talking about it. You just don't know unless you ask. I was sharing a story with him about this Black designer that designed the clothing for Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris for the inauguration, right?
Yep.
And he just said, give me a chance. I would love to style the first lady. And they gave him a chance. And that's how it is. Yeah, you don't know unless you ask. So thank you for bringing that. You confirmed what I said. So you're doing this intern at the different, in broadcasting now all of a sudden. So then you're a weekend reporter. How did you do that? They gave you a chance in you were just doing it.
So I want to believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I was just a go-getter. I don't know. I can't. But the internship I had at the TV station was not an on-air internship. Okay. It was a production internship. And so what that meant was that I was doing production work in the studio. I was running camera. I was ripping. I'm aging myself here, dating myself, because this was back in the day when they actually had script pack, so you would actually, typewriters.
Yes.
We actually
with the ribbon, yes.
So we had typewriters, and we had this thing that was called script pack, and script pack was a piece of, it was like 5 layers. And every layer had to go to a different person in the production department, the director, the anchor, the audio person, all of this stuff. But I had to rip those and sort them out and deliver them. none of this was close to what I wanted to do, but I knew that if I could get in there, I could sort of move laterally.
Okay.
And I think that that's one of the big mistakes people make is in not seeing the growth opportunities, that they assume that growth is linear, and it's not. It looks like this.
Yes.
The trajectory,
Yes.
right? Up, down, plateau, up, down. So like young people, especially, I'm really big on this. You've got to understand what the growth potential is and looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did that. So, and I would also run studio camera. And then but on my own time, I made enough friends in the production department to go out on stories with, like a photographer.
Yeah.
And he would say, this guy I would go out with, he would say, look, I just want you, because he would be going out on his own, holding the microphone and asking questions. We call that a one-man band.
Right.
So he would be doing all of that. And he said, look, I mean, it would be great if you could come with me and you ask the questions. So it was helpful to him, but it was also good for me.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And so from that, I ended up getting a resume tape. And then I would just send the tape out, and then lo and behold, I got the job in Reno.
And you never stopped. And so then you were in Reno, then it was Birmingham, then it was Dallas. And you were just everywhere. How long were you in Reno before going to Birmingham? I didn't get a sense of how long you were at each area, though. So how long were you in Reno?
I worked at 2 TV stations in Reno. So the first job right out of college and out of the internship, I was probably there like 11 months. And during that time, again, there were changes that happened in the station that enabled me to anchor, to try my hand at anchoring. Like the woman who was the main anchor ended up getting really sick. So the weekend anchor went to replace her, and they said, hey, what about you? Would you like to anchor? And I was like, sure. So it happens like that. Just sometimes you're the warm body who's there. And if you prove yourself to be reliable and you're just there, you just never know when that tap is going to happen. Right. So from there, I ended up at the station across the street. They poached me because I didn't have a contract or whatever. So I went over there, and I was only there for like 8 months, and then I ended up going to Birmingham.
Okay.
Birmingham, I was the first place that I signed a contract, and I was there for 2 years.
Really?
And then in Dallas, I worked for 2 TV stations in Dallas. One of them I had signed I guess it was a 3-year contract. And then I got fired I didn't get fired. They didn't renew my contract. And then I was married and pregnant at that time. So I sat out a year. Okay. And then I ended up going across town to another station. And that's where I was when I got picked by CBS. Now, CBS affiliate.
In your early years with the Reno and Birmingham and Dallas, Rene, were there other people in the studios that were black? Were you weren't the only black person there? Can you remember? There might have been maybe a sound guy that might have been black, or another female anchor that was black, or no?
Definitely no more on-air talent.
Wow.
I was the only one.
Wow.
So this would have been in about 89 or so, 88, 89. I think it's gotten better. Gosh, I pray.
Yes.
But I don't check their website. I don't know what's going on in Reno so much. In terms of other people in the studio or in the building, I'm sure there were 1 or 2 other, but not significant numbers.
I hear you. Okay. You remember the first story you covered? You remember your first story?
I don't remember the first story, but I do remember my first, this sounds so morbid, but like my first dead body. Because, and that, by the way, that was probably about a month into being at CBS, being at the affiliate. I was at the CBS affiliate was my first job, the ABC affiliate. So those were in Reno. I worked at the CBS affiliate first and the ABC affiliate. When I went over to the ABC affiliate, so I had already done 11 months or whatever, and I'd never seen anything like this. But then I went to the ABC affiliate, and I was must not have been, I'm not sure if it was on a weekend or not. It might have been a weekend because I think I had to report also. You had to do everything.
Do everything.
And I saw I had gone out on two stories where, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday, and they both involved a deceased person. And in the same weekend, it was like, do I want to do this? It was really hard. And you know what? Never saw anything like that again.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
But that was that could have been a turning point for you. So that's an excellent way for us to segment the next question, because I wanted to understand your goals at this time. Because again, you read about this journalist in Boston that was making a lot of money. But what were your goals? Were you trying to get to that same plateau, be this like number one anchor woman per se, or be maybe the next Barbara Walters? Or what was your goal or objective at that time?
Wow, you'd think that would be something I could remember kind of off the top of my head, and I really can't. I just know that I enjoyed, I've always been a storyteller. I've always been interested in other people's stories and what makes other people do the things they do. So that was part of the reason that I went into this. I sort of went into it because I felt like I was good at the storytelling. I was good at the listening. I was good at the communication part, the actual looking into the lens and speaking to people and being able to, work through that level of, when you are speaking to a camera, and you're trying to get to the home audience, there's like a layer that you have to kind of penetrate through. And I was able to do that sort of naturally. And so those were the things that kept me or got me interested in doing this was that, knowing how to be a communicator. I didn't have any real, desire to be Barbara Walters or Carol Simpson or anything like that. And really didn't think I would ever ascend to a level like that because, you're from Sacramento, and I had a college instructor say, many of you won't even make it to the anchor desk. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Right. It was so it was so weird because it's like, aren't you supposed to be encouraging us?
Yeah.
And anyway, so I don't remember exactly what my goal was, except to just be the best anchor and reporter that I could be.
So tell us, how did you get to CBS, The Early Show? Tell us, how did you get there?
Well, let's see. Wow. I'm really having to go back here. I was working at the CBS affiliate in Dallas, and I had a great life. I had two kids, and I had in television, you were either working the morning shift or you were working the evening shift, and neither one of those is really conducive to a good family life. But when I was there, I was working this sort of mid-range shift, so I would do the noon show and then the 5 and 6, and then I was out. So I could get home in time to put my kids to bed. I was able to be there when they woke up, all that stuff.
Great.
Well, all of that ended when television revenue started getting tight. But it didn't end until I was already gone. So I'm telling you a lot right now, but basically, while I was in that shift, I got a call from my agent at the time who said, CBS wants to revamp its morning show and they are looking for people, and why don't you submit a tape? And I was like, Henry, I literally had just built a house. My life was good. I said, I can't do that. We just moved into this house like a month ago. And he said, oh, Rene, just send it. You never know what'll happen. Well, I sent it, and you know what happened? They called me out for an interview. So it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting the job from there. At the same time, there were some shifts happening in television, and they were looking for places to cut. They're always looking for places to cut. But instead of having 3 anchor teams, they could make it 2 by making the morning anchor also do the noon show. And then you would have the evening anchors do the 5, 6, and 10, right? Or 5, 6, and 11 or whatever. So that was all happening as I was leaving. So had I stayed there, I would have probably been out of a job.
Yeah. And I don't understand the cuts, Rene, because as much advertising that goes on during the broadcast, during shows, you would think that there would be enough, to sustain people's salaries or keep staff on and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, during that time when you were on, that type of television was pretty big. It was very competitive.
Well, and that's exactly the problem, is that the pie, which was like this with 3 slices taken out of it, is now like this with 17 million slices taken out of it because viewership is down. People don't watch TV as much as they used to. And the people who are watching television are old. They skew old. Advertisers don't want old viewers because old viewers tend to be what they call brand exclusive. For example, if I asked you, what kind of detergent, what kind of laundry detergent do you use? I'm seriously asking you that, Michelle. Which laundry detergent that you use?
Tide.
Tide. How long have you been using Tide?
For years, 20 years, long time. That's why they don't want to mess with
me. Me too.
Yeah.
I've been using Tide since I've been doing laundry. So then why would somebody who's coming to you with a Gain advertisement be interested in somebody like you or me who's already brand loyal to Tide? So that's where the problem is, and that's where the hang up becomes. So the older skewing viewer, the less they can charge for advertising. And that's why they're in the position that they're in.
Yeah.
Not to mention young people. I raised 2 kids who are now 23 and 25 almost. They probably never watched a news show. Even the ones I was on. They get their news from other places.
Yes.
So those things are having an impact on advertising.
The times have changed. The times are changing. So tell me, Rene, if you can, what happened with you and your relationship with the early show? Because you were there for 4 years and then you got fired. What happened? Can you share anything with that?
Of course.
Sure.
Oh, please. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just want to be respectful.
I have no secrets.
Come on, Rene. Spill the tea, as they say. Give us the tea, Rene.
Here's the problem. If you let somebody else control your narrative, then you're always going to live in fear.
Yeah.
So I'm not letting anybody else control my narrative. I lost my job. I got fired, which if you've been in television long enough, you've been fired. This is not special. I'm not special. I just was there when they decided to make a change. When television stations want to change their branding, they don't just change their color scheme or their graphics. They change their talent.
Yes.
And that's part of the risk you take being on air. That's why you get paid a lot of money for a number of reasons, but that's one of them. Because when they decide the station management changes and they wake up one day and they say, we don't like her anymore, you're out. And they don't have to explain anything. They don't have to do anything. Contractually, they can do that.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened.
Wow.
I mean, I don't feel any kind of way about it. It was fine at the time because, I was having this, I had a double mastectomy right after I was, had been fired from CBS. So it was good that I didn't have to race back and all this stuff. And then the other thing is, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. I had a contract that they had to pay out. So I did okay on my way out the door.
So that's a good
As
thing.
they say.
You did all right. So now we're focused. We don't have to worry about going to work. Okay, but now we're dealing with our health now. So tell us about the discovery of that, Rene, and how that made you feel. Give us a little background on your mastectomy there, if you can.
Yeah. So I did not have breast cancer. I had a condition that was the sort of the stage before breast cancer.
Okay.
It was called hyperplasia. And so I had 2 first-degree relatives with breast cancer, my mother and my father. Men can and do get breast cancer. It's a small number, but when they do, it's more alarming to medical staff because men don't have estrogen and progesterone in the same levels or estrogen in the same levels as women do. So therefore, if a man presents with breast cancer, it's almost like it's a genetic thing because they don't have the same hormones. So to have two first-degree relatives with that was very alarming to them. So I had been having biopsies, and some were surgical and some were stereotactic, and every year for 4 years. And by the end of the 4-year period, so much of my breast tissue was gone that I was like, this doesn't feel like a great way to be living right now.
Right.
And so I had a great doctor at the time who was European trained, and he was like, listen, there's this surgery for people like you. But first we need to find out, do you carry the gene, the BRCA gene? If you don't, we could still talk about the surgery, but it's going to change. Like, we're not going to put you on the hormone tamoxifen, which actually is the medication that suppresses the hormones. But if I had the gene for that, they would have prescribed that for me, because you can't, you're trying to stop the progression of the disease, or at least the beginnings of it. Anyway, so I had the genetic test. This is really important, a point that I think try to share, particularly with Black women. When I had the genetic test, the doctor said there are 3 potential outcomes. You could show a positive BRCA test, a negative BRCA test, which is the BRCA, or what they call undetermined variant. The undetermined variant means that we have information on you, but there isn't enough data in the pool for us to make a decision. And the reason there's not enough data in the pool is because not enough Black women were a part of the pool, were a part of the medical testing.
Wow.
So that's a big one with me, is that, and it took another 10 years before they were finally able to say, we have enough data to be able to determine that this doesn't mean, what we thought it would mean.
Wow.
But that's really important. We have to look at, how active are we in clinical tests and that kind of thing.
I mean, we're strengthening our muscles, Rene, in the sense of just getting our mammograms done regularly, like we're supposed to, so the doctors don't have to beat us over the head anymore like they did maybe previously, like years ago, because we know the importance of us knowing whether or not, and the fact that we have witnessed people's lives change by early detection. So now we feel more hopeful that, oh my God, if there is something, we can get ahead of it. So, but there's just, we're not invited to the table for any other type of clinical studies or conversations.
But we have to, that's on us to find out. So we have to educate ourselves. We need to ask, we need to, we need to be empowered to ask questions, to ask second opinions, that kind of thing. You're right about the mammograms. And here's the piece that's really frustrating, is that Black women typically have a poor prognosis once a cancer is found. So it has to be breast cancer, along with prostate cancer for men, are among the most curable cancers if they are found early. All cancer has a better prognosis if it's found early. But the people, you can't hide your head in the sand. You can't say, I don't want to know, because sooner or later you will know. You will know. The question is, will you know in time for you to do something about it? That's really the question.
So now you're going through this, you're experiencing this, and you're coming through it. Now, I read that we've lost hair, right? We had a hair loss situation. Tell us a little bit about that, Rene. What happened there? Because the hair is beautiful today. For those that can't see us, the hair is nice. We did a co-wash. It's beautiful. It's bouncy and springy. What happened to our hair? What happened? She's laughing. She's tickled.
So, Michelle, the hair thing was completely unrelated to the breast thing.
Okay.
And so I didn't, because I had my surgery preventively. They did not find cancer, and I had no cancer. I had the stage before cancer. So in removing my breast, they removed any kind of cancer that would have come down the line.
Okay.
But what happened was, as I was, so now in 2007, so this was, I guess, this was all happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're making me go way back. But so in 2007, I was finishing my book, Good Enough Mother. It was coming out in March of 2007. And I was on a book tour and for the book. And I got sick on a plane.
Yeah.
And I ended up with bronchitis and was hospitalized. And in that time, I was in the hospital for like 3 days. You know what? This was actually 2008 because I wasn't able to vote. I couldn't vote for Barack Obama. I couldn't vote for Barack Obama.
You didn't vote for our first black president?
I was in the hospital. I was like,
doggone
oh my gosh. Yeah. So I ended up getting out of the hospital. I had an interview at CNN right after that. And I remember thinking, oh, I got to get to the hairdresser. My hair is so nappy. My hair wasn't nappy. Girl, it wasn't nappy at all. But I went to the hairdresser. She put a relaxer in my hair, touched it up. And the chemicals, it reacted with the medication from my hospital stay. And then my hair fell out in like right in the crown, in the crown of my hair, like falling out in my hands, like just all of it just falling right on out into the sink. Which, when you're on TV, is a pretty scary thing.
Very, 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 very.
So anyway, I have a daughter, and she has beautiful, beautiful curly hair. And I was struggling I was looking at her thinking, well, she must have got it from somebody, maybe it had to be me. So I started wondering what my hair would be like if I didn't relax it. And then I became obsessed because then I started to see my natural curl.
Yes.
And I was obsessed with it. And it was beautiful and it felt good and it looked amazing. But more than that, it fit me for the first time since I started, relaxing my hair. This hairstyle I had, the hair that grew out of my head, fit me better than any hairstyle I'd ever had before.
Looked great.
And I was like, let's explore this a second.
Yeah.
And I never looked back. And so that was so I took the rest of my relaxer off in March of 2009. So it's been what? 12? Almost 12 years?
11 years. Yeah, 11, 12 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. And and I never look back. And I love it. Today, I tried a new thing today. Well, first of all, how about that little silver coming in?
I see that. It looks cute on you, though. It's cute. It's cute. It's cute.
You know what? I'm not down for dyeing it. I just don't want to. I just don't want to go there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want. I like my hair the way it is, and I like me.
Yeah, you're just being Rene. You're just being Rene. You're liking Rene.
Exactly. I am loving Rene. Yes, exactly. So you know what? I decided. I was like, well, let me just see what happens, and then I did something different today. My daughter taught me this. She was like, because I used to put a bunch of cream and like all this cream and then the gel on it. She said, just do the gel. So this is what I got when I just did the gel.
I feel special. You did it for me today.
I did it for you.
Yes, I am. Listen, I'm hot today. Thank you, Rene. Listen, I want to talk to you about this blog, the blog that turned into a book. So how the blogging, and you do it from your headquarters, which is your closet. Would you talk to it? I think that is so cute. And since because we're talking, we're being transparent. So one or two of those episodes, I could tell that the headquarters was going through some kind of renovation. There was laundry going on and some new things, and it was a lot. And then after a while, it just was really cute. I saw the book behind you and the pictures of the kids, and you're interviewing people in your closet. Tell us about that. I think that's a cute idea. How do we get there?
So I have to tell you that I no longer do that from there because I no longer live in that house. So I live now out, that was up in New York, and now I have a home in South Carolina, and I spend my time between there and a home in Georgia, in the Georgia area. Georgia area, Atlanta area.
Hey!
Yeah. So I'm burning up and down I-20 and go on the back roads and, whatever. But I don't do that so much anymore because one of the things so I published the book. And the book, I was asking the publisher, how are we going to promote this? And they were like, oh, well, you'll just be on our homepage and blah, blah, blah. But that was Simon & Schuster, they did not understand online content. Yeah. They didn't understand that, blogs turn into books, not the other way around.
Right.
And now publishing has really gone through, you think TV's gone through a lot. Publishing has really gone through it. Yeah. And really what they're looking for now is if they invest in someone, they want to make sure they can move units, books, right? And so they're looking for people who already have built-in audiences, which is why Snooki got a book deal, why these people that you're like, why do they have a book deal?
Yeah.
Because they have an audience.
Yes.
So that's really the most important thing. So when that was happening, I was like, well, I guess I better start a blog. And that's when I started Good Enough Mother. And so Good Enough Mother, the blog, was the actual offshoot of the book, when it really should have been the other way around. Yeah. But at any rate, I didn't know, live and learn. And then I started doing videos from, my closet that I would be like, oh, this is Good Enough Mother World Headquarters. But as life goes, my kids grew up. And there came a time when they didn't really like me talking about the stuff that I was doing and they were doing. When I started this, they were like 8 and 10, maybe 10 and 12. And so now they've aged out. They're 23 and 25. Yeah. So now I've had to make kind of some adjustments. I'm moving into more lifestyle blogging, but really more creative type stuff. More, I'm learning. I'm taking some courses on voiceover so I can, become a voiceover actor and things like that. But yeah, just like life, it was, how do I say this? It was, the days are long, but the years are really short. And my time, this 10 years and why this has been such an interesting conversation with you is that seems like a whole lifetime ago. That the things that I've done since then and just are so, I don't know how to describe it. It just seems like a long time ago. Okay. And that the person I am now is so different from even that person back then. But we live and we learn and we grow and we're present in every situation that we're in so that we, so that we can learn. So
yeah, and I want to create the space for you to talk more about the person that you are now, because those previous experiences help us to evolve to who we are today. So it's very important. So Rene, tell us, for other women that want to have a career and have a family and husband, any piece of advice that you could share with us that could help us do things a little differently, not even so much better, but differently, right? Because we're in a different space, to your point. Yeah. Anything you could share?
Stop putting yourself last. That's the big one, I would say. You have a right to be happy. Yeah. You have a right to be happy. And honestly, I think you have a responsibility to your family and to yourself to be happy, because who wants to be around a cranky mommy all the time, or a cranky wife? That's not fun or sexy or any of that. So you got to do the things that are, that make you whole and make you a whole person, a person that that you want to be, that you yourself would want to be around. Yes. It's not always about the laundry. The laundry can wait. The dishes can wait. Guess who can do dishes? Everybody else in your house. You don't have to be the one. Guess who can do laundry? Everybody else. You got kids who are 8 years old, 6 years old. Teach them how to, what is this? Yeah. Why do you have to be the martyr? You don't. Motherhood is not martyrdom. And so this whole I have so much to do, and you end up crunching yourself into the ground is just dumb. Yeah. That's dumb. Yeah. And at the end of it, because now I'm on the other side, right? So now my kids are older, they're grown, and now look, it's Rene. And what does Rene want to do? And what makes Rene happy? And don't get to that place where when your kids leave, you're just sitting there like an empty shell, and you're just all dried out and shriveled up and mad at the world. Okay. Well, that's not you, boo.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. How do you feel with us? The pandemic was such a life-changing year for us, and we're still in it. But with the vaccine, we're hopeful people are getting their shots. How do you feel coming into 2021 after experiencing staying at home, shelter in place? What did you learn more about yourself, Rene?
Wow, you are really, really asking some great questions.
Thank you.
We are digging deep. I can't remember how many times I've had to be like, in this conversation. Okay, that's good. I see you, Michelle.
I don't want to waste your time, Rene. I respect you. I wanted this to be good, man. This is good stuff. Yeah, because you're
What did
helping us.
I learn? That's such a great question. So, I learned what I thought I needed to make myself happy. I really didn't need. I wanted those things,
Right.
but I didn't really need those things. I learned, I can tell you, I really chased peace in this time.
Yes.
For me, peace and happiness. So that meant disengaging from things that did not ultimately bring me peace. If they upset my spirit and my soul, then that was not something that I could be a part of. I learned how to take my career and do it online, which meant, I was I have a production company, but I was able to, really take some editing courses and learn how to become a good videotape editor.
Nice.
Better. I've always edited. I've edited since I was, in Reno, but learning how to edit with files and special effects and graphics and music and all that. But really, I would say the biggest piece for me was just chasing my own happiness and peace.
Yes.
That's what I learned.
Now, you look fabulous. You look well and healthy. I know health is important for you, right? So give us some suggestions for us. What do you do? What is the day in the life for Rene? Do you walk every day? Do you go to the gym? Are you juicing? Like, what's going on, Rene? You look great. That skin is popping. Come on over there. You look
well, you
incredible.
know what? You're so funny because the skin piece is a huge. So I just turned 58 in February.
The lies you
and
tell.
So when
the lies you tell. The lies you tell. The lies you tell. 50. Come on, knock it off already.
Yeah, no. So I was like, so what do I want that to look like? And this is the other element. Is that so now here I am in what could be defined as, the last third maybe of my life if I lived to 90.
Right.
So what do I want that to look like? And so I've been thinking a lot about that. So weight training is absolutely critical,
really?
For me and for us as women. We get very weak, particularly our upper bodies. And all of a sudden, if you want to live on your own for a while, you want to be independent, weight training and independence are connected. You have to combat the atrophy of your muscles, which will happen if you don't push them, you don't use them.
Right.
So I do less cardio and more weights, because I'm trying to build muscle, and that's hard. It's hard to do at this age. When you're like 20 and you have a full complement of hormones and whatever, it's like, oh yeah, just your stomach is flat the very next morning. It's like, but it's different for us, and so you have to. So you have to do that. The other piece is the weight training also helps with osteoporosis, which isn't as critical for us as women of color as it is for women who are what I have heard termed slight and white, right? So light skin, i.e. white, Asian, and slight as in slight of build. So that's part of it. That's part of the physical thing. I found this great dermatologist because I was like, my skin was okay, but it wasn't great. I was having a lot of discoloration and age spots, which you will, if there are any young people listening to this, please wear your sunscreen. Did you know that you should even wear sunscreen in front of a computer monitor? Did you know that?
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Right now, this is what my dermatologist said. She said,
"Are you serious?
If you are in front of a yes, so please sunscreen every day." Because I was telling her, I don't go outside, so I'm good. She said, "Nope, in front of a sunscreen, in front of a monitor, you need sunscreen."
And the monitors we're getting are bigger and bigger too. So it's like, poof, this ray of light on your face. So
that was a big one. But really, you know what I did? I'm a huge fan of Rene. And for its anti-aging properties. And so she gave me, this is my trick, is that she gave me a prescription to the generic Rene, tretinoin or whatever it's called. And I use it, and I used it for a week, and all of a sudden my skin was like glowing. Like,
you're glowing.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's what I'm getting right now. Like, so it's working. You're looking
and
incredible.
The Rene, and it's because, you know, and I have like a little bit of makeup on, but not much. Usually I never wear makeup anymore. But the thing is, it helps turn over. It's the skin renewal, the cell renewal happens faster with the Rene. That's my understanding of it. And that's what I see. And then I used a little bit of the hydroquinone, which is for dark spots. And that's that. And then I just protect, like if I go out in the sun. I was in South Carolina on the beach the other day. I was the only fool out there with an umbrella, but I don't care. I'm not spending this kind of money to be out here. Nope.
She's like, So Rene, are we going to go back to traveling? Are you still a travel blogger and renting cars and doing things and giving reviews on that and walking your dog? Yeah. What are you doing? You still doing that stuff?
Oh, my doggie, she died. Oh, my little Olivia. Yes. Oh God, I love that dog so much. She I put her down about 2 years ago. This will be the third year coming up because she was the best, Olivia.
She was always pooping. She was pooping in the videos every time you.
I know, my gosh, she was.
You're like, there's my dog going to the bathroom.
In the back of my live shot, yeah. So she was great. She was an amazing dog. And you know, it's funny. I every once in a while I'll see a picture of her and you just can't help yourself but to well up. She was a good dog. Yeah. So that, will I have another dog? Maybe not. I'm not sure yet. So we'll see.
Okay.
But in terms of travel, when the world opens up again, I think I will. I did get a car the other day to review, so I'm going to have a review on that. It was the Infiniti QX55. So we'll see.
You got a lot of things going. You're doing a lot of great things. I'm glad you talked about voiceovers because I think you have a great voice. You can absolutely be in that. Yeah, you should be doing commercials. You should be doing something for Disney or Pixar. You're wasting time, Rene. Come on.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, it's very easy for me to talk to you in this voice because this is my natural voice.
Yes.
But it's really hard. And I'm always tired after I practice because this voice isn't always the voice they want. This is a very authoritative voice, which there is a market for that. But I also need to be softer and know how to, sales or K-toolers or,
yes.
or come on down to Planet Fitness where it's $10 a month.
There you go.
You got to have that quirky, upbeat. The problem is, as I'm telling you this, I can do it while I'm telling you, but years of being a broadcaster, as soon as I read it off paper, it starts sounding like an announcer. So that is what I'm trying to beat out of my delivery, and it is hard work.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. What's next for you, Rene? I know you're working on voiceovers, maybe another book. What's going on for you? What's your projects? What do you got in the pipeline? Anything special?
Oh, man. I'm really trying to just live a piece at a time, not look too far ahead.
Okay.
I don't really have a burning desire to write another book, honestly.
Okay.
I would love to do commercials and voiceover. I'd love to act. And so we'll see. Yeah. But I'm really just focusing right now on staying healthy, getting strong, taking good care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, so that when the next thing comes along, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Where can the people find you, Rene? Where can people find you? Where are you?
Oh gosh. All right. Well, on Instagram, I'm Good Enough Mother, and that's spelled ENOUGH, the regular way, Good Enough Mother. On Twitter, it's Good Enough Mother, spelled ENUF, so it's Good ENUF Mother. And on Facebook, just Rene Seiler. I did have a fan page, but I haven't really updated it much because it's like all about motherhood, and I'm in that kind of next phase, and maybe I need a Facebook page for that, because that other doesn't seem
that's not you anymore. That's not you anymore.
Right.
That's not you. And until maybe you have grandkids, perhaps, but you're in a different space, so maybe you should update it to reflect this new version of Rene.
Yeah. I meant to tell you, my first name is actually Michelle. I don't know, your middle name's not Rene, is it?
No. Your first name is Michelle? Are you two L's or one? Are you two L's?
Yeah, two L's, like yours.
My heart is smiling. What a connection. Yes, I did not know that.
I changed it when I was in I must have been 12, because my family was calling me Missy all the time. I hated it. Did your people call you Missy?
No, we never had that. I'm from the Bronx.
What about Shelly?
Shelly. A few people called me Shelly. Some called me Shells. Michelle. I had one person call me Mickey, but no, not a Missy. I was never a Missy. Or a Mimi. I was never a Mimi. Some Michelle's are Mimi. I'm not a Mimi. No. Yeah,
I was called Missy, and I was like, I didn't like that.
I wouldn't like that.
And so
either.
when I was, so my family had moved from Fair Oaks to Yuba City, and so I was going to a new school. And my mom's name is Florence, but she goes by Ann, and she said, listen, if you want to change your name, now's the time. Just introduce yourself as Rene. And so I did. I never changed it officially.
Yeah.
But I just started being called Rene.
You're Rene. And look at Michelle. You're pretty Michelle.
Rene.
Yeah, Michelle, pretty Michelle Rene. This was fun.
Yes. Great questions, Michelle. I enjoyed spending this time with you.
Thank you, Rene. Thank you so much. I am so honored for you to be here today. This was awesome. We got an opportunity to see Rene and talk to you and ask the questions. I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to still follow you and see what you're doing. I see you tweeting over there some things. She was like, not again. Like with the whole Prince, with the Sharon Osbourne. You were like, not again. Gosh. You're like, I'm tired. He was like, I'm so tired. It's incredible. It's just amazing where we are today, and we'll bring you back another day. Entitlement and what people can say and not say and do and not do, and I didn't mean to offend. Did this really offend you? I didn't know, and it's still a constant thing for us. We constantly have to draw the line in the sand. We have to call people out on their BS. We still have to be mature and rational, even in our responses and what we do. It's just a constant struggle. But it's people like you, Rene, that did lead the path for us, that continue to give us an opportunity in these spaces that we don't have to be quiet. We don't have to be ashamed of who we are. We can speak our truth. We can be storytellers and be professional in the process. So for that, I thank you. I thank you so much.
One of the other pieces, and I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you this, but that I've really been spending a lot of time on is doing a lot of anti-racism work and really finding out and doing a lot of reading. So I started a book club called Rene Seiler's Tough Topics Book Club. Really? And we have been really diving into some of these things, and some of it is so uncomfortable. And I feel like we just finished reading a book called White Too Long, which is by Robert P. Jones, and it's about the tenuous relationship between American Christianity and white supremacy.
Really?
And it is really hard to read because you start to understand about how the church, the white, the Southern Baptist Church, and a lot of churches have actually in the past, they really have a lot to reckon with, because in the past they did some things that were, put in place to uphold white supremacy, according to this author. So, yeah, that's another place you can find me, is that book club.
Yeah. What's the name of the book club again, Renee? Where is it? What?
Rene Seiler's Tough Topics Book Club, and it's just on Facebook.
Okay, that's fine.
Really fancy name, right?
Yeah, no, because there's some readers out there. I'm not a reader per se, but I'm an Audible girl. I will listen.
Oh, that's me.
Everything's on Audible. I just finished Obama's book. That was 29 hours. I will listen while I'm washing the dishes or doing clothes or working or driving or working out, and it's a great way for me to still stay connected. So I'm going to join you. I'm going to follow you on that. But those conversations are hard, Renee, because it brings something up out of us. Like we are trying to be in this space, but it's really hard for us to look at people and be like, "Are you serious? This is what this is what you were doing?" And it's a very, to your point, a very tough conversation to have, but it needs to be had, right? Because we're still talking about reparations and this and that and everything else. But what I would hope for is that our people will understand that if we never get any form of reparation, we are resilient, we are intelligent, we are smart, we are about community, we are about love. We can do what we need to do without anyone's permission. So I'm hoping that, as we've seen, unfortunately, the horrific things that happened just in 2020 alone, right? George Floyd and other episodes, that if justice is not served in those particular pockets, we can't let that stifle us. We still have to keep moving forward. We have to own things. We have to empower our people. We have to be economically sound. It's a lot of things that we can do, that now that the internet has put everything out there, there's no segregation in that. So we can get the information that we need to continue to grow and move as a people, as a culture, as a race. And that's my powerful segment for the day, but that's how I feel. So I support you in that, and I'm going to read that book with you. But I want to thank you so much for your time, Renee. This was awesome. This made my day. Thank you.
And mine too. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you so much. Listen, everyone, that's my time. You guys know who I am. I'm Real Chicks Rock, and I'm everywhere. You guys can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check us out on the website, realchicksrock.com. We got the YouTube channel. Subscribe. If you see a show you like, give us a comment, give us a like, because we want everybody to have access to that show and know what we're doing. This is my time. You guys continue to be well, take care, and rock on.